After all my sleep has been slept. After all my sleep has been slept, I still wonder why I needed to sleep. I still wonder why I needed to think. After all my thoughts have been thought. After all my flames have been burnt, I still ponder why I have been frozen. I still ponder why I have existed after all my life has been lost.
Perfect.
He tried a lot of things, but he never reached what he wanted. So like he had a lot of questions in his life, and he had a lot of emotions, but he never get the answer for what he was looking for. I don't know why it's make me feel like that, but it's very deep and it's touchy, very touchy for me.
Sad and deep, but not dark. I mean, there's hope. You ask for hope.
But normally I try to live very free and I try to look from my higher self to understand that everything I experience has a message or has a deeper meaning for me. I try to handle it with this thought, with this higher thought.
I had all these wonderful times with my family, but I still want more. And wanting more, not necessarily things, but more of my emotion, more hugs, especially in the time right now with COVID. This is very, very apt, very appropriate. That thought that, we're stuck, we are frozen in things. I think we've had so much time through COVID that this is really interesting to say. I still ponder why I've existed and all my life has been lost. Even knowing my life's not lost, but this time that we've spent during COVID, very pertinent that sometimes you do feel that you've lost, a year of your life, but we haven't. But then it goes back to the deep side that in this year of being at home and not being able to go out and not being able to go other places and continue to make memories, you go back to your other memories.
I feel kind of shattered actually. Today we're actually on our way to the demonstration in Germany, in Hanau, that 9 people with a migrant history have been murdered by a fascist. The poem really connects to me because it's a lot spoken about how Germany is sleeping during what happened in Hanau, and how the sleep of Germany and being frozen, and people are frozen to not doing anything about the racism that exists. And so I also connect very deeply with the sentence, after all my flames have been burnt, because I'm burning inside about what happened there, and I'm scared what's gonna happen in the future if we don't wake up of our sleep to finally act on this situation and on structural racism.
Why? Why after all you slept, you slept, why is there still so many hours to sleep?
We're both raging insomniacs, so that does happen a lot.
Like when you wake up and then you are still in the imagination and think, and you dreamed, and then you think about your dream.
Yeah, and what is real and what is just a dream.
Oh yeah.
What is your imagination?
Sleep is something you're not acting. Like in sleep you're passive. This passiveness, it's coming up again in one of the last lines. I still ponder why I have been frozen, because sleep is also kind of being frozen. So, but then there are these lines about flames and burning, and flames and to be burned. That's something active. So, to me, it connects to wake up out of a sleep and then become active and.
After all my flames have been burned.
Yeah.
It's so...
I like after all my flames have been burned and I still ponder why I have been frozen. It's... Yeah... controversy.
Yeah.
You at first you are burning and flaming the hell out, and then after that you feel just be frozen cold with no feelings, and the burn is just gone. So why? What happened? What is the reason?
I still wonder why I needed to think after all my thoughts have been thought.
It's almost like you think of everything and nothing at the same time. And it's sometimes
like it makes no sense at all. And
I think because it's always the same. You always think about things and you never get to an end. You always think farther and farther and always think again and again about this one thought. And it never ends. Like it always comes more.
Yeah, it's like your mind is a never-ending thought. Yeah, all your thoughts are always connected to your feelings in your mind.
Yeah, after all my thoughts have been thought, why it's going still on and on. Or I need to think because you can't stop it. This poem is just a thought.
For me, it's weird. It's thought. It's a feeling. It's a thought-provoking feeling. It can also be something like when I had my daughter. You know, you wait for that 9 months, and then all of a sudden, here's this child, and then now she's an adult, and it's like we live miles and miles apart from each other. So that time has changed so much, and you wish that you could have done more. You wish you could have had more.
I still ponder why I've existed after all my life has been lost. Because I think it's just such an existential fear. I think everyone feels the same in that way. I think your worst fear is looking back when you're old and thinking that you didn't live life to the fullest potential or the way you wanted it to. So that one kind of, I think, hits home the most because it's like, you don't want to. You only have one life, obviously, which sounds very cliche, but you don't want to waste it, and you don't want to feel like you lost the one chance you had on this earth, and you wonder why you do. You know, it's like, why did I exist in the first place if I didn't live my life the right way? So that one resonates the most, I think.
It reminds us of the song "I've Just Seen a Face" from the Beatles.
It maybe reminds me of a person, of my grandmother. She was also into poems.
This poem reminds me of a person, a good friend of mine. She died very young and she had all these thoughts exactly why it's going on and on. It was an accident, but maybe there are no accidents.
I think it's interesting because there's no real punctuation. Like I is not a capital, it's a small I, so it's not necessarily that you're stating it in a bold way. It's a lot less presumptuous. Yeah, it's a little bit more, it's got a lot of humility. The way it's written, I think, because you have this small I and there's not a full stop or whatever, then you can, the punctuation not being there, you have to have your own punctuation. So, you know, it's like anything. You think of Shakespeare, the way you say something can be so different if you say it with a different punctuation. So you choose how you're going to say it.
I love the repetition, I guess. I still wonder why, because it's like more intense that way.
And the pattern too. It's like the first and the last verse are the same, and the middle one is the same. It's like a sandwich. And the sleep, slept, think, thought. And then obviously the Gegensätze.
Opposites.
Burned, frozen, existed, lost. And the middle sentences are the exact same, just the last words differ from each other, and it's a nice structure to have for sure.
I like it simple that way. I really like it. And it's short. Yeah, it's simple, but simple things are the difficult ones.
Is that you? Ooh! He has a booty, ladies and gentlemen. He has a butt. He does have a butt. Ladies and gentlemen. That's a good butt.
The picture shows your emotion and your ass.
Oh, that's his ass! It's a lot of similarities between the written poem and the illustration here, since, you know, there's a lot of repetition going on here and duplication, and so is in the photo. So you see two people that are mirrored, and then the poem is mirrored as well. So there's obviously a pattern here, and they're very similar to each other. Since, you know, the words literally, the semantics, they're mirrored in its meanings with, you know, sleeping, thinking, burned, frozen, but also the structure of the words, and so is the picture, so it correlates.
It looks like the energy, but not like somebody who needs sleep. Like someone who's dreaming and he's out of his body or something like that. And maybe it fits also to the opposite technical thing you said, with this frozen and burning and frozen because you have two people on the picture. I also think that you have big questions to the world. Yeah. You take time for things or for thoughts which the society doesn't matter.
And you like to analyze yourself, the reason for being existing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just in general.
Yeah. And I hope that you can get some sleep.
Sweet one.
Would be good.